G'day. Today's video is going to be how I built my CNC plasma table. Well, right now it's just a plasma table, but if you subscribe and stay tuned, I will post the whole process of this project, including the build of the CNC portion of it. So in this video, I basically designed and built this table with removable slats so that when they get destroyed, I can go ahead and replace them. So, yeah, stay tuned and check it out. Here I am building the frame. I first start by cutting it up, and then I go ahead and clean up the metal afterwards. Here's where I begin to assemble the frame. I use the square to make sure that everything is square and even. And I tack weld it just for now. I use the tape measure to go ahead and verify that it is square before I weld it permanently. Here I grab the belly pan and put it in place so I could tack weld it in place as well. First, I go ahead and ensure that it is even throughout. Once the belly pan is tack welded in place, I go ahead and begin assembly of the legs. Once the legs have been cut and mounted to the frame, I went ahead and started making some bracing for the legs. This is not a permanent solution, but you'll see that it'll get braced further later. Once the bracing was done for the legs, I started cutting and prepping the bracing for the wheels. After welding up the legs, I put a thicker bead on the belly pan just so that it will hold up better when I turn it over.
Luckily, there was only a small section left to weld, so I just leaned my camera up against a bucket and just laid the last couple of beads down. With it now flipped over, I started grinding and prepping the metal to TIG weld the inside, just so that it would have a better seal. My plan is to eventually have a water pump to have it water cooled, so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to leak any water. I am aware that my TIG skills are not the greatest. I am still learning. It's a new process for me. It's actually fairly new welder that I'm still trying to get the hang of. Here I begin cutting and prepping the slats. Here I cut and prep the slats holders. Here I tack weld and then fully weld these slat holders into place. Here I brace the legs further by adding some angle iron. This also will serve as sheet metal storage. Now it's time to give it one final clean, as well as give it a little base coat paint so that it doesn't rust out easily. And here's the finished product. As you can see, it turned out great. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I put a storage section on the bottom to be able to put some sheet metal on afterwards. It's got locking casters. It's not going anywhere. And it rolls relatively smooth.
So the total space of the table, it is just over 5 feet long with just over 4 feet wide. The plan is that because of the CNC that I'm using, it's going to take up some of that space. So I would just be happy if I could fit a 4-foot sheet on there. So that's kind of the goal. We got a little bit of extra on one side in case I gotta get a full sheet, and I could cut it into 2 4x4s, kind of worst case. That's kind of the plan, but in everything I build, my plan and my follow through is never always the same. I kind of just build as I go, and this is the end result. So thanks again for checking it out. I really appreciate your views. If you like it, comment, tell me you like it, tell me what you liked about it. If you got something you want to say, let me know. If you really like this content, we appreciate all your support. Thank you. Bye.